Good afternoon and welcome to the Network Giant podcast. I'm here with Art Campbell, a 40-year experienced business professional from the Cherry Hill, New Jersey market. Art is in here to join us on the podcast, and we're excited to have him. Art, welcome to the podcast pad and the Network Giant podcast.
Thanks very much. I'm happy to be here.
Art, we are excited to have you here because of your knowledge and experience in helping businesses throughout New Jersey. Art is a renowned member of the Chamber of Commerce. Art helps businesses from bank loans to business planning. Art, we're going to start off with, let's talk a little bit about small business loans and what your involvement is with those loans and businesses and how they can acquire a loan to help them grow their business.
Sure. We work with the Cooperative Business Assistance Corporation. Think of it as a business lending bank without depositors. Our job as a nonprofit is to lend to small businesses, and our specialty is what they call SBA microloans. They're $50,000 and below, the 6-year fixed rate. These are loans that oftentimes banks are not able to do for one reason or another. They're not bad credit. They're not broken businesses. They just don't fit the bank's particular parameters for business lending. So about 80% of our business comes from the bankers. This is not work for me. This is fun.
Understood.
Okay?
Understood.
I have a long business banking background and a long management background. And for me, there's nothing more fun than helping a small business understand more about their business and how to get financing.
Are these SBA loans?
They are CBAC loans.
Oh, CBAC loans. Okay.
Our operations are funded by the SBA.
Okay.
Our operations are, but it's within the SBA program set. This was passed by legislation in 1987.
Okay.
Specifically to help small businesses who don't often have access to credit.
Well, that's a great program. If I'm a small business, why would I need a microloan? Give me some reasons why I would need a microloan as a small business.
Cash flow, equipment, business expansion, hiring more employees, refinancing certain things. The first thing to understand, by the way, for everyone listening, is what's a small business.
Right.
All right. The SBA defines small businesses in much larger terms. Most people don't know the demographics of business. 50% of all the businesses in the United States have 5 or fewer employees. 80% have 20 or fewer employees. And only 2% have more than 100 employees. So we focus on those small businesses who need funding for moving, as I said, for equipment, for any other improvements that will help them grow their business. They come to us sometimes from the banks, sometimes on their own, to ask us to assist. We don't have underwriters.
Okay. Well, that makes a big difference.
Well, that's from my banking background, I will tell you that underwriters used to work for insurance companies. Bankers signed loans.
Absolutely. Being a small business myself, I mean, I've been through the red tape.
And that changed with some legislation that happened, which I won't get into all the nasty details, in the 90s. So I review their financial situation, but more importantly, I meet with the business. I can learn more from a business in 10 minutes than I can learn reading 50 pages of financial statements and tax returns.
Understood. Because the small business is the business owner.
It's their passion.
The passion.
It's not a job, it's their life. It's 24/7.
That's what it is, 24/7.
Okay. And they have everything that they are invested in this business. So the first thing I need to learn when someone calls us or when I get a phone call, why did you start the business? What were you trying to accomplish? Tell me something about yourself.
Excellent.
Tell me something about the business.
Excellent.
Because character is worth more than money.
Well, a character is going to decide if that person's going to be successful or not. If a person has drive, they're going to be successful.
80% of new small businesses fail, mostly because they're not properly prepared.
Exactly.
So our job, because our consulting, by the way, is free. It's pro bono.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Because we're a nonprofit.
Excellent.
There are many times a business comes to us for a loan and we can't help them, but we will spend some time explaining why and what they need to do next to at some point be able to get financing.
What is the process for a small business to follow? Say they wanted to get a microloan. They wanted to get a loan through your organization.
Right.
What's the process that they would follow? How would they go about applying
The first thing they would do is either call CBAC or go to www.cbaclenders.com.
okay,
All right. And let them know they want a loan. The staff will take a look at that and we'll deal with the request. If I get a call, the client or prospective client gets a call back that day. And I introduce myself and ask all the important questions.
sure,
Identify yourself, tell me about the business, why do you want the loan, how much do you need? Sometimes what they think they need is the wrong number. Sometimes they need more.
right,
We get to look at their entire financial situation. A small business, and you know this because you're a small business, is very passionate because they've learned how to do a thing really well.
right,
They don't always know that running a business is a different thing and a different skill set. It's why people who start a business sometimes fail. They know how to do their stuff, but they don't know how to run a business.
absolutely.
They don't know what's involved.
We always say that the most important thing in a business is the system, right? You have to build a system and the people run the system.
Well, it's a little more than that.
And
Oh,
elaborate.
if you want to start a business, and everybody does this, by the way, they talk to their friends and family about this wonderful idea and how they're
course.
going to be the new Microsoft and all that stuff.
Of
Okay.
course.
And so I ask them, so who did you tell? And they always say the same thing. And I said, well, I know they like it. Will they pay for it?
Absolutely.
Building a business is not having a great idea and great skill. Building a business means you have to identify who is your prospect. How are you going to reach them? Who is your competition? What makes you different? What's your differentiator? And how are you going to communicate your difference and to whom are you going to communicate? You can have the best sales skill in the world. If you're talking to people who don't want to buy your stuff,
Right.
you're going to
You're
fail.
not going to sell it. Yeah.
Effective sales is more about prospecting than it is about selling.
Sure it is. We talk about it all the time, especially with the chamber.
Yes.
That's all prospecting, right? It's networking.
No question about it.
Building a network is building long-term clients if you build those relationships.
And one of the first things you have to tell anyone who joins any chamber of commerce or any business organization is when you're doing what you call networking, it's not a transaction. You're not trying to sell something. You're trying to meet people and build a relationship.
Absolutely.
Those people
That's
who
the
are
key word, relationship.
the most successful networkers are not the ones who do business with the people they're talking with. They're the people who get referrals from the people they're talking to
Good point.
because of the relationship.
Good point.
And
With the organization, with the bank, the lending organization. It's not a bank, it's a lending organization.
yes,
With the lending organization, is there a minimum amount of money that could be borrowed? And what is the maximum?
the maximum for the microloan is $50,000.
Okay.
CBAC does other SBA loans and sometimes participates in loans. I'll give you an example. Let's say a business wants to borrow $600,000 and their bank says, we can do 400. If the bank likes the project, they may call us and ask us to participate and take second position with the bank
Okay,
for the other 200,000.
gotcha.
So our sweet spot are the microloans because we're the largest microloan lender in the state of New Jersey. And our market area is South Jersey and parts of Philadelphia.
Okay.
We've been doing it since 1987,
Oh, well.
or the company has. And I've been associated with CBAC since 1995. I was actually on their board of directors when I was CEO of the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And their CEO was on my board of directors at the chamber.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they asked me to be on their board because of my banking background.
That's a relationship. You build a tremendous relationship.
That's a guy. We met at the Chamber of Commerce. We started talking about what they do and what I do, and they wanted some help on their board of directors, and there I was. So
Excellent. So we're going to talk about how the business builder ties in with CBAC. What's the relationship there? The business builder is your company.
yes,
Okay. And The Business Builder is a consulting company for small businesses,
It's a lending
a
company.
lending company as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you're right.
What's the relationship?
We've got a chicken and egg conversation here.
Okay.
All right. I was CEO of the Camden County Regional Chamber of Commerce for 21 years.
Okay.
In 2017, I needed to resign to care for my wife, who was terminal.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, thank you. Tough stuff. At that moment in time, Harry Stone from CBAC, the CEO, asked me if I had some extra time, since I was now going to be at home, to help him with SBA loans. I said, well, when I was a bank executive, that division reported to me. I taught them how to do the
That's
SBA loans.
That's interesting.
So that's how the relationship evolved over time. I had to begin working from home so I could take care of Diane. Harry knew that. It was like family.
That's great.
And he said, can you help me with this? And of course I said, sure.
All right. Welcome back to the Network Giant podcast. I'm here with Art Campbell, a 40-year business coach and lender. Art, we talked a little bit about CBAC and the business builder. How are the two related?
Well, no, that's a chicken and egg comment or question. And let me explain how that happened.
Okay.
When Harry asked if I could assist with SBA loans, I opened the Business Builder as the business portal in order to assist with that because I'm an independent contractor and I'm not an employee.
Understood.
So I didn't have the Business Builder first. I was CEO of the chamber first. And when I retired, take care of Diane and started a contract, an active contract with Harry, I opened the Business Builder portal as the business end of what we were doing. That's how that happened.
Oh, excellent. So it was for your personal reasons that you started the Business Builder to assist CBAC with acquisition of
Exactly.
of customers for lending.
And that was 100% of my banking consulting, which was with CBAC.
Understood.
Okay. I didn't do any additional consulting until sometime later on.
Understood. Can we talk a little bit about the underwriting procedures and process with CBAC?
Yeah, most of the general public doesn't even know what underwriting is.
Right.
So for their purposes, underwriting is what do you look at to determine whether or not the loan is financially viable, and you look at all the financial information, the tax returns, and how do you make that determination? In the old days, I can say stuff like old days.
Sure. You can, listen, you can curse on here if you want. We don't care.
I'm from the old days.
All right. So that's fine. You're an old hat.
Yeah,
That's what we say.
The bankers themselves reviewed the data and signed loans. Over time, as the banking industry evolved, the evaluation part, the numbers part, the mathematical part was displaced to back office folks who never see the customer, never meet the customer, never talk to the customer. With CBAC, we don't do that. I meet with the customers independently. Harry may also meet with customers. Brian, other lenders may meet with customers. We review the financial information. We take the temperature of the character and the personality and the business attitude. We do that.
Well, let me just say from my experience that I've been pissed off by some underwriters in the past, okay? Let's just talk about that because being a small business owner, I know for a fact that I could pay a loan back, right? I could pay a loan back faster than most based on my experience and what I've done in business. But from an underwriting perspective, they have specific guidelines with financial institutions, that some of the larger institutions that, people are familiar with the commercials on TV.
Yes.
But the underwriters have specific guidelines that they have to follow, tax returns, business income, canceled checks, pay stubs, things like this, W-2s. Some small business owners don't have W-2s, and some people, they take draws and, they have, stated income as a part of a term. What's the difference between a regular lender and what you guys do for the underwriting?
We go through the processes personally I just described.
Okay.
If I think it's a good deal, Harry's involved in the conversation or the CBAC is involved in the conversation. If we like it, we do it.
Excellent.
It's.
Well, there you go, folks.
I
If you
can't
need a
make it.
microloan,
I can't make it any more complicated than that.
if you're in South Jersey or in Philadelphia markets and you need a microloan, CBAC is obviously an organization that you should reach out to by far.
And I understand. By the way, I understand your frustration about underwriters.
Oh, of course,
because they don't see you personally,
of course.
and they don't get to take your temperature otherwise.
We were doing 6-7 million a year, and
We look at much of the same data. We just fill in the blanks with the personal interaction.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay.
So we're going to move a little bit into the business builder here. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get back to the podcast pad where we're hosting this event. Beautiful facility here. We love being here. But we'll get back to CBAC and the business builder and talk a little bit about that after this break.
Happy to do that.
Welcome back to the Network Giant podcast. I'm here with Art Campbell, a business coach and a business builder in South Jersey and the Philadelphia market. Art, thanks again for coming on, and we appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, John.
So we were talking a little bit about CBAC, and we were talking about how it led you to start the business builder. So let's talk a little bit more about the business builder and the organization that you put together to assist CBAC with their operation.
Well, it's actually pretty simple. I get the call, I deal with the client, we review everything, and the vast majority of what I do is specifically with CBAC. However, some other people knew about my banking background, and I was, about a year or so ago, asked to assist with a much larger project for a developer. One of the things with larger loans, 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, you don't walk into a branch and say, hey, I want to borrow $15 million.
Right.
Okay. And not every bank wants to do every kind of business loan. Commercial loan or the chief loan officers have portfolios that they have to look at to be sure that they have certain types of loans, and they may be certain loans they just don't want to do, even if it's a good loan.
Mm-hmm.
The borrower doesn't know that.
Right.
They don't know who to ask. They don't know what to bring with them, if anything. Because of my involvement, not only in banking, but as CEO of the Chamber of Commerce for 21 years, many senior bankers are on my board of directors. So if someone comes to me and says, I want to borrow $12 million to build market rate apartments in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, first thing I'm going to do is call some senior officers in banks to say, if the numbers work, is this the kind of a loan that you would like to be engaged in? I can save them time.
Absolutely.
By finding
I see that.
who to ask. But I also know what to ask. So I can meet with a senior banker and say, here's the basic financial stuff. What do you need? What do you need from this client in order to accept the application and process it and give it a good chance of being approved? So it's not just how much money they have or how much equity they have. Different types of loans require different types of documentation. If you want your loan to get the attention you'd like it to get, if you want to get the best rate for your loan, you don't wait around for the banker to tell you what to give you. You show up with a package.
Absolutely.
A full package of data, and I can assist putting that package together and determining which bank or banks, so that when the client approaches the bank, they're not going to waste time.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they're also going to be able to say, well, not so much. I'm sorry, this doesn't work.
Right.
If you want this kind of financing, you need to dot these I's and cross these T's.
So you help the let's say the builder. You'll help the builder put these packages together.
Absolutely.
And prepare them to walk into the bank so that they can acquire the loan that they're looking to acquire.
Because I'll meet with the banker first.
Understood.
And I'll say, this is how much someone wants. This is what they want to do. Markets are different.
So you do the legwork, and this is through the business builder.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is the business builder a nonprofit or a for-profit?
It's a for-profit.
Okay. So you get paid by
the client.
The client. I
Yes.
got you. So the client would pay you for the services that you would prepare for
Yes.
them.
And that would
Understood.
depend on the complexity of the loan and the size and so forth and so on.
Excellent. It's worth its weight in gold to have someone that has the experience help put that paperwork together to be able to walk into a bank. I've requested, several $100,000 lines of credit and, have to sit there and put together the paperwork, then it would take a month and a half to get all
That's
all these
exactly the
documents
point.
together.
That's
You know,
exactly the
I
point.
wish I would have known you
If
back
if
then.
if I know someone who wants that, you start with the paperwork
Right,
because you know what they're going to ask.
right.
You know you're going to need a couple of years of tax returns and personal and business.
Yeah,
You're
personal
going to
one.
need a
Yep.
personal financial statement.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
all of that stuff. Those are baby steps. But the vast majority of people who ask for financing or apply don't show up with that. They wait for the bank to tell them.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's say that I'm a business, right? And I need to borrow a $500,000. Um, I want to, I want to buy a location and I want to build let's just say I want to put a cafe I want to buy a building, and put a cafe in it. And I need a $500,000 to do that. I have some money on my own. What would I need? What does that list look like? What would I need to come to you and say, all right, Art, this is what I have. What does that list look like?
The lists looked exactly like what I said first. However, you're talking about a cafe now. You're talking about the restaurant business.
I got you. Different animal.
Different breed of cat.
Let's say I want to build an apartment I want to borrow $500,000.
But that's a totally different conversation.
Okay.
If you say a cafe and you want to buy a building, now you have two different issues.
Understood.
First, you want to purchase a building, not lease it. Secondly, it's a cafe, so it's a nature of business. Anybody's going to want to know what's your background and experience in the restaurant business. What's the competition? Okay. Where's the building? Is there parking? What about sign ordinances? Is it a friendly community to signage and so forth and so on? These are all things that are going to affect your profitability, but also your ability to pay the loan.
And a lot of people don't think about all
Of
these
course
all
they
these
don't.
things.
Because fine, you want to borrow the money. When are you going to start making money?
Right.
All right. So what are the improvements for the building? So forth and so on. Now, if you're buying a building and you want to lease a piece of it and not occupy the whole thing, what you'll be told at the very least is the bank wants you to have 51% of the occupancy. All right. So if you want to lease something, okay, but you better occupy 51%.
Right. They want you to be an owner occupant.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, depending upon the nature of the industry, everything factors into this.
And you help with insurances and making sure that that they're going to direct them into some.
One of the interesting benefits I have from being CEO of the Chamber of Commerce for 21 years, I don't know the companies, I know the owners of the companies. So if you need business insurance, if you need someone to build your website, if you need a technology expert,
if you need someone to promote your podcast, right? Now we know where to go.
These people are friends of mine.
Right.
Okay. So if I have you call them on my behalf, they're going to pick up the phone. All right. If you need an accountant, the banker, I'm going to talk to the banker first because I know the banker.
Right.
All right.
So folks, I mean, firsthand, if you are a business or you're looking to get into a business, you need someone like Art and the Business Builder to help you. I mean, this is something that, you don't want to go into this thing alone. Believe me.
No.
You do not want to go into this thing alone. I can tell you from firsthand experience.
Yes. I mean, it is not complicated if you know the process.
Well, and you surely know the process. 40 years of being in the business community, through the chamber, banks, now with CBAC and the Business Builder. Do you have other employees in the Business Builder?
No, I do not.
It's just you.
Just me.
Okay, excellent. So they get the man, the myth, and the legend all in one.
I'm not sure about the myth and the legend part, but they certainly get somebody who knows the process and who actually enjoys what he's doing.
Absolutely. And you've earned the respect of all these people that you're talking about, the bankers, the insurance agents, the accountants, name it.
Any youngster who wants to get in business needs to understand that there's no body language in an email, that relationships are built face to face, and that AI is great, but only if HI is running it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense. Here we are, this is a new thing for us, the podcast. It's funny that it's full circle. Like I never thought that I would be sitting behind a microphone creating a podcast to help businesses develop themselves or even get started into a business to be able to help them, move their company forward, become more profitable, be able to grow that business. And bringing people in like you makes a world of difference for someone that's watching. It gives them real facts and real life experiences to where, the mistakes have already been made, right?
Yeah.
Mistakes have already been made, and we try to prevent them from making those same
Look,
mistakes.
anybody can learn what to do. Learning what not to do
Is the tough.
is the key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was just going to tell you about, like, we talk about podcasting, and when you and I met at the chamber, you were like, I said, I want to have you on. I think you're interesting. You're a great guy. I think podcasts are tremendous in business growth and helping with B2B marketing. Mike, our main creative producer, found an article on LinkedIn, and I want to read some statistics. This was an article from Scott Hawksworth of Digital Marketing Adventures, and some of the statistics that were just astonishing when it came to podcasts. And you'll find this interesting. 45% of podcast listeners have an annual household income of $250,000. That's from Nelson. 74% of users listen to podcasts to learn new things. That's from Edison Research. 52 million U.S. households listen to business podcasts.
Wow.
That's from Nelson as well. 52 million households listen to business podcasts. 54% of podcast listeners are likely to consider the brands that they hear advertised on podcast. That's from Edison Research. And 39% of small and medium-sized businesses, the owners, are podcast users. That's what Forbes says.
Wow.
Think about those statistics.
That's exceptional. That's and obviously with all my banking, I'm kind of a numbers guy too.
Absolutely.
And I make decisions based on what I learned, but also on numbers, and those numbers are very impressive.
Yeah, it's staggering to think about that.
Little personal aside, you said you'd never thought of yourself being in front of a microphone.
No.
My first time in front of a microphone, I was 13 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was singing the first ever folk mass at my church.
Oh, wow. By yourself or
yeah, by myself.
No kidding. That's interesting. Well, you got thrown into the mix, so you had to do it, right? There was no getting out of that one.
You got to be comfortable with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Art, children, grandchildren?
3 children, 5 grandchildren.
Wow. That's your pride and joy. Or your pride
My
and joy.
children are all eligible P.
Okay. Well, don't.
I
You look
love my
great.
kids. I love my grandkids.
You look great. You look great.
It's my favorite title of all is Pop Pop.
Excellent. That was my father's name from the grandkids. Rest his soul. Anything else that you want to discuss?
I'm at art@businessbuildernj.com. That's my website.
Okay, excellent. And we have it up here on the screen as well.
And it is best to contact me through an email for the simple reason that I get 30 or 40 spam phone calls an hour.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so tired of these freaking phone calls.
I spend an hour or two every day because I have 2 email addresses. I have art@businessbuildernj.com and I have my personal email address.
Okay.
So I spend an hour or two every single day making stuff disappear. The fastest way to get to me is my email address.
Understood.
And
say that one more time. Tell them your email one more time.
It's art@businessbuildernj.com.
Excellent. There you go, folks. This is a tremendous opportunity to have Art and his expertise with us today. We really appreciate Art coming in and offering the services that he does offer. If you're a small business, a mid-sized business, and you're looking for a microloan or need the assistance, reach out to Art. I'm sure that there's something that he would be able to help you with. And if he couldn't help you himself, I'm sure that he can put you in touch with the right person that could help you.
Well, the only other thing I would add, frankly, is every single business, no matter how successful, can be better. If you're a small business and don't have someone else to talk to about how am I doing? How's the business?
Absolutely.
How do I grow it? How do I make it? Is there anything? Because small business people know, again, how to do something really well. They're not always real good with looking at their financials. I've been looking at financial stuff for 40 years,
100%.
and I can look at a profit and loss statement this year and last year, and numbers are going to come flying off the page. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I am going to ask questions, and you're going to tell me what's next.
It's a very good point that you bring up. Let's talk about profit and loss statements and your financial statements, because
Sure.
I would venture to say maybe I'm on the high side. 80 to 85% of small businesses have no idea what they're looking at. When you're looking at a general ledger or you're looking at a profit and loss statement, I would venture to say 80 to 85% of business owners don't know how to properly decipher those numbers.
When you look at the numbers, they all give you three words: call my accountant.
Right. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Right.
And I understand it. I mean, it's a 24/7 job when you're running a small business. But if you're accustomed to looking at columns of numbers, year to date, month to date, last year, this year, assets, liabilities, income, expense, if you've been doing that for a long time, literally numbers jump off the page. When I was a bank executive, I had 51 branches in 5 counties,
Well,
and we didn't have computers.
times are different.
And I had my executive secretary lay out the P&Ls for each branch on a big conference table. I'd walk along the conference table and circle numbers, and I'd make some phone calls
Absolutely.
because you just get accustomed to that. And
Sure.
businesses don't have the opportunity to do that.
No, you're busy running the business, the day to day, the 20 hours a day while you're grinding it out, worrying about how you're making payroll, worrying about, where your supplies are coming from. How am I paying for the supplies? If you have employees and the employees are, out working, what are they doing? Are they doing the job correctly? How they're driving the vehicles, the gas, there's a lot that goes
Well,
into it.
how do you, whenever we asked from the Chamber of Commerce, groups of employers, what their biggest issues were, how do I find good employees? How do I pay them? How do I keep them?
That's going to be our next segment when you come on.
I have done all of that.
Absolutely. And that's an extremely accurate assessment of businesses. That is the number one challenge.
Yes, it is.
And that's for an entire podcast, I think.
Yeah, and it's who do you ask?
Absolutely.
And there are companies that specialize in HR management.
Absolutely.
I know several of them, of
I'm
course.
sure you do.
But there are two types of large business organizations. One type believes that their employees are resources. Another type believes that they are annoying expenses. That fashions your strategy with how you deal with your
How
employees.
you deal with the employees. Understood. Yeah. No question about it. No question about it. Well, I really want to thank you for coming in today. It's been an eye opener. It's been great information. To all the listeners and viewers, we're really excited to kick off the podcast, the Network Giant podcast, and we're having wonderful guests on like Art. We hope you stay with us. We hope you continue to check in and see who the next guest is going to be. And believe me, Art will be doing another podcast. He's a wealth of knowledge. So, Art, I want to thank you again for coming in, and thank you for the podcast pad for putting this production on.
I appreciate the opportunity, John.
Excellent. Thank you. My pleasure.